Many believe in a better way of doing things. So do I. I believe in social capitalism as the driving factor for improving the human condition. The way the economy works today is unnatural and leads to serious disadvantages like retirement is not guaranteed for everyone. Not everyone can do what they love for a living. The current system goes against the very rule of nature and the planet at large. The honesty, hard work, integrity, and major values of individuals may not be well compensated. Full-time mothers at home do not receive a salary. Availability of jobs and salaries depend on the current economy and market conditions. Job offers are not driven by the actual needs of the business and available workforce. This causes jobs with overloaded, multitasking, and underpaid workers. In response, when companies face a financial crisis, the first thing they do is fire people, leaving families without incomes. This could eventually lead to criminal behavior. A system ruled by greed and desire of financial wealth is not sustainable, and it causes good people to act in a predatory way. This state can turn people truly desperate, and when predators are willing to kill for money, and if money is valued more importantly than human life, there's no doubt the system is wicked. It is not a secret that there have been wars because of financial power, and once again, human life is being underestimated, forsaken, and taken for granted. Let's stop for a moment and talk about currencies. How they work is the root cause of all of these issues. The traditional currency obtains its value because it is an imposition by a government or central bank. On the other hand, the gold and cryptocurrencies are given their value because of an agreement. For gold, we all agree that it is valuable due to its quality because it looks nice and our perception of the metal makes it valuable. The same thing happens with cryptocurrencies. A group of people decide it has value, and consequently, that perception in the market gives the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies its value. For Category 1 of currency, its value is imposed. For Category 2 of currency, its value is an agreement. Both categories of currencies create value out of nothing, truly an unnatural way of creating value. In our economy, creating value out of nothing is an unnatural way of living. In truth, value is created by living creatures. We humans could get nutrients from nature, breathing air, performing work, and as a result, we create value from that work. That is the natural way of value creation. That's the natural flow of creating value. Now, let's present a modern economic model with a natural workflow. As we mentioned, human beings can get nutrients, breathe the air, work, and produce value. Humans can give without having in today's modern world. This is evident with social media. In social media, people share likes. These likes have no cost coming from the person giving them, although the likes may be valuable for the people receiving them. We can make use of technology advantages to create social capitalism using a value-based economy. Imagine somebody works for a number of hours. Those hours are then validated by someone. The validation includes the amount of hours worked and the quality of the work performed. As a result of this evaluation, the worker receives a grant, which may be of monetary value, and a reputation. This reputation is an essential indicator so that people will be motivated to get value in the right way. The formula applied is the following: the number of work hours multiplied by the quality value given, then multiplied by the reputation index, which results in a grant. A human being can accumulate grants for their entire life, and that accumulation can be compensated accordingly with an equivalent monthly salary. To support this idea, let's imagine somebody converts a wasteland into a beautiful garden. They then post a visible note that reads, "I keep this garden beautiful. I invest 4 hours weekly." When people read this note, they may like and appreciate the effort with a grant. This worker would then receive a monthly salary by simply satisfying a need in the community without depending on a formal job. And in another scenario, let's imagine a child taking care of an apple tree. The label they post says, "I take care of this tree. Please give me 1 grant per apple." This supplies the child with grants. An artist can sustain their needs by continuing to do what they do best, their art. People that are dedicated full-time to house labors could get a salary simply by receiving grants from their family, neighbors, and guests. And those confectioning products at home could sell their works with grants. Based on road travel, We could give positive or negative grants to other drivers. In this model, we will all be traffic inspectors. An important aspect of this social capitalism will be based on equilibrium. All will be motivated to provide many more positive grants than negative ones, so a positive environment of collaboration will be created. In this scenario, giving negative grants will occur only if it's really required. With this said, let's add that concept of the equilibrium to the equation for calculating reputation. Reputation will be calculated from the sum of all positive grants received by an individual in their lifetime. This amount is divided by the accumulation of negative grants multiplied by the equilibrium index. To prevent abuse of the system, a finite number of grants to assign a person should be set. This idea also works in the natural world. Our energies to create value are limited. In this practice, we can determine the best way to set this up. However, we can estimate that limit as follows. The number of cumulative positive grants of an individual divided by the maximum number of grants obtained in the system registry multiplied by 7,200. 7,200 represents 24 hours multiplied by 30 days multiplied by 10. Using this method, human beings will be valued based on what we are and not by what we have. Efforts, talent, and quality of the individual will be compensated fairly, with a monthly salary that will give us the opportunity to buy what we want and need: houses, cars, shopping, and the possibilities to get a fancy lifestyle by simply working honestly. If someone has worked very hard and accumulated many grants through the course of their life, that person could retire young. Elders could also receive grants by simply being good parents, good grandparents, and just overall good people. The concept of gross domestic value will be applicable equally to a nation, community, corporation, and the individual alike. A company could be created with grants from a group of people who themselves receive grants as juridical people. Companies will pay salaries to their employees with grants. If that company has a good reputation, people will like to work for and with that company. The country or community will receive grants from the people. The distribution of salaries will depend on the community's average incomes. The entire banking system and distribution of wealth could be completely automated and free of any political corruption. The internal banking automated system will distribute funds accordingly. For example, if the community has received 100 units of capitalist currency on a monthly basis, someone with a contribution to the community equivalent to 2% will receive 2 units of capitalist currency on that monthly payment. The same happens separately for companies or other entities. We cannot compare companies with individuals. That would not be a fair comparison. Hence, the distribution of wealth and accumulation of grants should be grouped by individuals, population, companies, and governments separately. How is the community going to get the capitalist currencies for internal distribution? The community can export services and products to sell outside of that community and receive money in exchange for services and products. Companies would do the same. Then, the money will be distributed as salaries based on the value produced by individuals or companies accordingly. The same happens when we want to get products or services not produced by the community. We would import them and exchange them with capitalist currency from our salaries. The system should have a claim process for ensuring appropriate use of grants. Finally, here it is, a cost and time baseline of how much time and money we should invest for starting this initiative. Let's try it. We will never know if a new idea will work until putting it into practice.